This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and in the past I've shown some unboxings, and I've talked about how crappy some eBay sellers pack. Well, this takes things to a whole new level here. We have an Audiotronics record player here, and as you can probably tell, they didn't even bother putting this in a box. They just wrapped some bubble wrap around it, slapped the pre-printed shipping label on it, and called it a day. I mean, you can see the corners of the record player protruding out through the bubble wrap. So I just hope this thing arrived in one piece, because if it didn't, I'm going to slam them big time with negative feedback. I mean, this is sheer stupidity, carelessness, and laziness. That's all I can say. And not only do I blame the seller, I want to know why in the hell the post office let this go through. I mean, used to, when you dropped a package off with the carrier, if they could hear things rattling around in it, or if the box was torn up or not taped sufficiently, they wouldn't accept it. So I want to know why in the devil they accepted this, which is clearly just a item wrapped in bubble wrap. Alright, let's rip this thin layer of bubble wrap off and see what I'm going to find. Now, the outside looks okay. Let's check the inside. Well, I can't believe they actually had sense enough to tape the tone arm down, but they might as well not have. Look at this dirty tape. What'd they do? Recycle packing tape or what? That's what it looks like they did. Just ripped a piece of dirty packing tape off of a box and tried to stick the tone arm down, but obviously it didn't work. Well, it looks okay. Let's just hope and pray that everything's okay here. Okay, the platter looks to be running even. It's not off balance. I can tell by flipping the lever that there's some dirt and crud in the speed control mechanism. It looks like the date is December 1984. I don't know if that's correct or not once I open it up and look for any date codes inside. Alright, let's get it in the shop and see what it does. Alright, here we go. Yeah, they said in the description that it turned but had no audio. Guess what? They were absolutely right. Alright, let's pop the cover and see what we can... Yeah, I think the lousy packing job and the fact that this unit actually survived is just a testament to how well these classroom record players are made. I mean, they might as well have just slapped the address label onto the record player itself and not even fooled with the bubble wrap. But yeah, this made it through the system with virtually no box or no packing material or nothing, and it survived. Most consumer grade record players wouldn't have survived that kind of trip. Here's the underside, the amplifier board and the drive mechanism, and our speaker. And I see one of the screws is missing that holds the speaker in place. It might have worked loose in shipping, or it might have been missing beforehand, but we should be able to replace that easy enough. Now, before we dig into the amplifier for our no audio condition, we'll check some of the basics first. You'd be surprised how many people overlook the basics when troubleshooting something, and they end up going on a wild goose chase just to discover that they could have fixed it in a few minutes had they started with the basics. So let's start with the speaker and make sure it's good. Believe it or not, I've seen these open before, usually when they play them at maximum volume for extended periods. And what do you know? Looks like our speaker voice coil is wide open. Testing the meter there. We have continuity between the meter probes. There's our speaker coil, and it's wide open. Okay, we're connected to a test speaker. Let's see what happens now. Well, I heard it tick in the speaker. We have cartridge activity. Let's try it. The drive mechanism is going to need some service, but that won't be no problem. And for a change, I believe we finally have found one that has a good 89T cartridge in it. Seems like most of these classroom record players that I find, the cartridge is shot, and these 89Ts are not cheap anymore. They're not $5 a piece anymore. They're more like $25 to $30 for the traditional new old stock flip style with LP on one side and 78 on the other. And I don't know if this is a dual LP or LP and 78, so let's find out. Well, isn't that nice? It's a true 78 tip on that side. See, when I flip it back over to LP, it'll play the record, but you can hear a lot more surface noise. The sound of her laughter will sing it. That's LP, and that's 78. Who can tell you why? Fools give you reasons. I don't have time to do a full service on this record player during this video, but I will get to it one day. In fact, I wasn't going to do a video on this at all right now, but when I saw the lousy packing job, I knew you would want to see that. So there you go. But this won't take much to get it properly going. Just a new speaker and the usual clean and lubrication on the drive mechanism, and it'll be good to go. Now, I will say the only thing I really don't like about these newer Audiotronics players is this cheap plastic tone arm. The older ones had a metal tone arm, and these plastic tone arms tend to skip more easily than the metal ones do. So if this one ends up skipping too bad, I might have to upgrade the cartridge to a P226, but on this particular tone arm it's a little bit more difficult to do that because there's no kind of counterweight or counterbalance spring on the tone arm. This tone arm was designed specifically for this type of cartridge, and if I put something else in there it will require some drastic modification, but we'll worry about that later. Just say thanks for watching and more to come later.